Welcome, everybody. Aloha. This is the Committee on Labor, Culture, and the Arts. Today is Wednesday, March 16, 2022. It is just after 3 p.m. and we are in conference room 225. We have 7 bills that we are going to have a hearing on today. We'll begin with House Bill 886, House Draft 1. This is relating to professionally licensed or certified government employees. It clarifies that the state shall be exclusively liable for claims or injury or loss of property or personal injury or death resulting from the negligent or wrongful act or omission of any professional licensed or certified employee of the state while acting within the course and scope of the employee's office or employment, along with other things. Okay, first up, we have the Attorney General's Office. Hi, Karen. Ms. Inagaki.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Karen Inagaki, Deputy Attorney General. The department is in strong support of this bill. It was a response to the Sunlove case, which is a ICA case. And before that case, every government employee had a qualified privilege from personal liability as long as they weren't acting with malice or an improper purpose. But what the Sunlove decision did was that it made a distinction for doctors who were working for the Department of Public Safety, saying that they acted as doctors, not government employees. So the doctors weren't entitled to the privilege that every other employee had up until this case. And the problem would be that that analysis would apply to actually every government employee who holds a specialized license, like in addition to doctors, lawyers, engineers, architects, etc. So in the case of the PSD doctors, the public safety doctors, they had to purchase insurance to keep the doctors and nurses from leaving. And it would not be feasible to have to purchase insurance for every government employee with a professional license. So we would ask that this bill be passed, and thank you for the opportunity to testify. And I am available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have the Hawaii Government Employees Association in person.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Michelle Kurihara Klein on behalf of the Hawaii Government Employees Association. You have our written testimony before you. We think just on our end, we are respectfully raising some concerns and seeking clarity on some of the language that's provided in the legislation. So I do want to highlight just one specific portion of our testimony that states, although the intent of House Bill 886 is to clarify the state's exclusive liability, the current language seemingly creates a confusion by allowing the state to determine when it will or will not be fully liable. And therefore, we believe that if the employee could still be held personally liable when acting within the scope of their employment, that the state should be providing, or that the state should be obligated to provide professional liability insurance to protect the employees. So we are seeking clarification on this legislation and its impact to our members. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have the Hawaii Association for Justice, Mr. Owe. He's not on, so I believe we had written testimony from him also. We also have testimony from the Department of Transportation in support, the Department of Human Services in support. Okay. Do you have any questions from members on this bill? If not, we'll proceed to the next bill. This is House Bill 1475, House Draft 1, relating to mandatory ethics training. Requires state legislators and employees to complete mandatory ethics training courses every 4 years, subject to certain requirements. We have the Hawaii State Ethics Commission, Mr. Harris.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair. My name is Robert Harris, speaking on behalf of the Hawaii State Ethics Commission. We will stand on a written testimony, but are available for any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Common Cause Hawaii. Sandy Ma.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm sorry, I'm unable to start my video. Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I'm allowed
Okay.
to start my video now. Sorry, Chair.
No problem.
Sandy Ma for Common Cause Hawaii. We submitted testimony in support of this measure. HB 1475. We do support this measure. We think this is a good measure. We just asked for an amendment to have mandatory ethics training be every year. This legislature adopts different ethics laws to improve ethics for legislators and employees and throughout the state every year. So we do ask for mandatory training every year. And we also ask that if certain people are unable to attend the training, that they not be allowed to sit on their committees or have some type of consequences until they do attend the ethics training, because we have to show that ethics is vitally important to the state. So we ask that there be some kind of consequences if ethics training is not taken. And that is the gist of our testimony. Thank you so much for allowing Common Cause to submit testimony in writing and provide testimony orally over Zoom. I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have written testimony in support from 4 individuals, as well as comments submitted by another individual. Do you have any questions from members on this bill? No questions? If not, we'll proceed to Senate Bill 1789, House Draft 2. It's relating to collective bargaining. Requires the representative of labor on the Hawaii Labor Relations Board to be a person selected by a majority of the exclusive representatives of the collective bargaining units. It also provides a time frame for the governor to appoint the representative of labor following submission of the nominee's name. Here we have testimony from HGA in person.
Good afternoon again, Chair, Vice Chairs, and members of the committee. Michelle Kurihara-Klein on behalf of the Hawaii Government Employees Association in very strong support of this measure. I want to thank the chair and the committee for scheduling and hearing this measure again. We, with the legislature's support, were able to pass a measure very similar to this last year. And it's unfortunate that we have to revisit this issue once again. This measure allows a majority of the labor unions to choose our labor rep, who still must be confirmed via advise and consent by the Senate. And we feel that's an appropriate check for labor to be able to designate who their representative on the board should be. I do want to clarify some misstated testimony that was testified to in prior hearings about whether one exclusive representative or one union will, by virtue of the number of units they represent, have unilateral decision-making on who the labor rep would be. And that is completely false. By statute and in this bill, it is very clear that it must be a simple majority of the exclusive representatives, and exclusive representatives are defined in Chapter 89. And so I just want to ensure that it is not, let's be frank, it is not HGEA who will be determining who the labor rep will be. It will be by majority of the public sector unions. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have testimony from HSTA, Wilbert Hope.
Aloha, Mitzi Higa speaking for Wilbert Hope, Executive Director of Hawaii State Teachers Association. And we back up everything, we support this bill. Everything that HGA just said, we agree with. So we stand on our testimony in support, available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have testimony in opposition from the Office of Collective Bargaining, Mr. Wada. We have comments from the Hawaii Labor Relations Board, Mr. Oshiro. We have testimony in support from the SHOPO, Mr. Kovako, and we also have testimony in support from UPW, Mr. Kochi. Okay, do you have any questions from members? If not, we'll proceed to the next bill, which is House Bill 2159, House Draft 1, relating to Workforce Development Boards. This amends the HRS to change the Workforce Development Council to the Workforce Development Board, requires other things. Okay, in person, we have the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations, the Director, Estaquio.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Ann Eustachio, Department of Labor Director. Thank you, Chair, for hearing this bill today. It's part of the administrative package from the governor. I'm testifying in support of this measure and offering comments on the composition of the board. This measure amends the Workforce Development Council law to be consistent with the state budget, as well as the conflict of interest provisions and non-molecular found in the corresponding Federal Workforce Investment Act. The department prefers the board as constituted in the unamended draft, and note in our written testimony concerns about the composition of the board in the House draft. As mentioned in the prior committee hearing for the companion bill of the Senate, the department supports amending the bill to have the governor appoint an executive director from a list of nominees submitted by the board. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I'm available for any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Eustachio. We also have testimony in opposition from an individual and from the Workforce Development Council. We also have comments from UPA. I'm sorry, it's from University of Hawaii, I guess, comments. Okay, let's see, do I have questions from members? Not, I have one question, and real quickly, we heard Senate Bill 3127, Senate Draft 1 does that have the contents that you would be amenable to, or?
We prefer the language in the unamended bill.
Unamended bill?
Yes.
Okay, how is it different from Senate Draft?
So the composition of the board
Senate Draft 1
is a little different, as well as the selection of the executive director.
Okay. Okay, so you prefer the 41 member size
That's correct.
and appointment of the executive director from a list of 3 nominees submitted.
Three
by the-
nominees submitted, correct,
Okay,
to the
so
governor.
That wasn't in 3127?
That was
no.
in the Senate bill.
Okay.
Yes,
that was
in the Senate bill, sorry.
Gotcha, thank you.
Okay.
Any further questions? If not, we'll proceed to the next bill, House Bill 2469, House Draft 1, relating to the Unemployment Compensation Trust Fund. This establishes an unemployment compensation insolvency special fund to be expended solely to resolve an unemployment compensation trust fund insolvency emergency declared by the governor, among other things. See, we have 2469. We have Director Estaquio. Estaquio.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair. I stand on our written testimony and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, with comments. We also have Mr. Yamachika from the Tax Foundation.
Tom Yamachika from Tax Foundation of Hawaii. We agree with the Department of Budget and Finance that this bill is unnecessary. We don't need a second rainy day fund. We already have one. We'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See, we also have Hawaii Food Industry Association.
Thank you,
Rebel
Chair. Stand on our written testimony and support. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have comments from the Department of Budget and Finance. Any questions from members on this bill? If not, we'll proceed to the next bill. House Bill 2471, House Draft 1. This is relating to the Adequate Reserve Fund. It amends the definition of adequate reserve fund to exclude the benefit cost rate from June 2020 through August 2021, effective for calendar years 2023 through 2030. We have DLIR, Director Estachio.
Again, good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, and Eustachio, Director, Department of Labor. Thank you again, Chair, for hearing this very important administration bill. I am testifying in strong support of the measure that addresses the anomalous outflow from the Unemployment Compensation Trust Fund during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic by providing relief to contributory employers. This relief will allow contributory employers to replenish the Unemployment Compensation Trust Fund and help reestablish the fund's integrity without facing the highest contribution schedules for years as Hawaii's economy continues to recover. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. We also have testimony from Mr. Yamachika, the Tax Foundation of Hawaii.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Tom Yamachika from Tax Foundation. We have submitted written comments that are technical in nature. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that's it. The testifiers, do you have any questions from members? Questions? Okay. Thank you. If not, we'll proceed to the last bill on our agenda. House Bill 2495, House Draft 1, relating to employment practices. This prohibits an employer from entering into or requiring an employee to enter into a non-disclosure agreement pertaining to sexual harassment or sexual assault occurring in the workplace, among other things. Here we have on Zoom, Hawaii Civil Rights Commission.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. The Hawaii Civil Rights Commission stands on its written testimony in support of this measure. We're available for any questions.
Thank you. Department of Human Services. On Zoom. Department of Human Services. Ms. Betts or nobody? Okay. We also have well, she's not here. Young-hee Overly was supposed to be in person. I'm not sure if she's online. Young-hee Overly.
I don't see that.
Okay, I guess she didn't make it. And we also have Anne Freed for the Democratic Party Women's Caucus.
Not here now. She was earlier.
She was earlier. Oh. Okay, I guess we'll move ahead. We also have testimony in support from the Hawaii State Commission on the Status of Women. The Department of Human Services testified in support. We also three individuals in support. Ms. Overly was also in support, and we also had the Hawaii women lawyers in support. Okay, are there any questions from members on this bill? Okie doke. We will recess public hearing. We will go into, I guess, our Welcome back. Well, I don't know, not really. This is the Committee on Labor, Culture, and Arts. We just had our public hearing on a number of bills. We will be going into decision making, but prior to that, we do have a late testifier who got lost, and I would like to testify, since she's here, on the last bill, House Bill 2495. What's that? All right. Oh, that's my watch. Okay, sorry. Okay, so we're gonna allow her to testify on House Bill 2495, House Draft 1. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good
Chair Taniguchi, Vice Chair Ihara, and members of committee. I promise not to get lost again. Thank you for this opportunity to testify in support of banning NDAs in case of workplace sexual harassment altogether. We did pass a bill a few years ago that bans it, as you may recall, in case of, as a condition of hiring. But by banning it altogether, it really keeps people who are perpetrator of this act accountable and keeps the businesses also accountable. So thank you again for hearing this bill, and I hope you will pass. I know you made a decision already. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll proceed to decision making. Should we wait for Senator Favela?
Oh, he was here.
Yeah, he just stepped up.
He's being signed.
Okay. Can wait a couple of minutes. Sorry for Senator Favela. He's a busy guy. Got plenty of committees.
Running around.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello, Chair. Would you like to go on recess? You are still alive.
Not sure how long he's gonna. Do you know how long he's gonna take? No. Why don't you hold on? He might be coming. The staff is going to try to see what's happening.
Hi, Chair. Senator Favela stepped into EDU for decision making and we'll be right back.
Okay. So we can go into recess again, I guess.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
We will go on recess.
Recess. Welcome back. This is the Committee on Labor, Culture, and the Arts. We are in decision making on bills that we've just heard. We were going to wait for Senator Favela, but he's in another committee, and so he probably won't be able to come back. So we will proceed with our decision making. We'll begin with House Bill 886, House Draft 1, relating to professionally licensed or certified government employees. Chair is going to recommend they pass with amendments. We'll amend Section 1 to clarify that the purpose of this act is to reverse the holding of the Hawaii Intermediate Appellate Court in Slingluff versus State decision, in the Slingluff versus State decision. We will, on page 3, line 17, substitute the word section for chapter. And we will also provide a different defective date of January 1st, 2060, and make other technical non-substantive amendments for the purposes of clarity and consistency. Any discussion? If not, Senator Ihara.
For the 4 members of the Committee on Labor, Culture, and the Arts Committee, we're voting on the chair's recommendation to pass House Bill 886 with amendments. Chair Taniguchi.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Chang.
Aye.
Senator Keoho Kalole.
Aye.
Senator Favela is excused. The recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. We'll proceed to House Bill 1475, House Draft 1, relating to mandatory ethics training. Chairs recommend we pass with amendments. We'll amend Section 1 to clarify the purpose of the act is to establish live and online ethics training courses. We'll defect the date to July 1st, 2050, and make technical and non-substantive amendments for the purposes of clarity and consistency. Any discussion? If not, Senator Ihara.
For the members present, any reservations, objections to the chair's recommendation to pass House Bill 1475 with amendments? Hearing none, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. House Bill 1789, House Draft 2, relating to collective bargaining. Chairs recommend we pass with amendments. Oh, there it is. Got it. Chair, we're on 1789. House Draft 2, relating to collective bargaining. Chairs are going to recommend we pass with amendments. We're meant to have this upon approval, and we'll make technical non-substantive amendments for the purposes of clarity and consistency. Any discussion? If not, Senator Ihara.
We're voting on the chair's recommendation to pass House Bill 1789 with amendments. Chair Taniguchi.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye with reservation. Senator Chang.
Aye.
Senator Keoho Kalole.
Aye.
Senator Favela.
Aye.
Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. Proceed to House Bill 2159, House Draft 1, relating to workforce development boards. Chairs are going to recommend we pass with amendments. We'll incorporate the provisions of our Senate Bill 3127, Senate Draft 1, and make technical and non-substantive amendments for the purposes of clarity and consistency. Any discussion? If not, Senator Ihara.
With all members present, any objections or reservations to the chair's recommendation to pass House Bill 2159 with amendments? Hearing none, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. Proceed to House Bill 2469, House Draft 1, relating to the Unemployment Compensation Trust Fund. Chairs are going to recommend we pass with amendments. This will probably provide some flexibility for the fund. We'll amend to provide that monies from the Unemployment Compensation Insolvency Special Fund may also be expended as a temporary source of funding during times of emergency, severe economic downturn, and unforeseen reduction of revenues pursuant to an appropriation approved by a 2/3 majority vote of each house of the legislature. And to provide that a general or supplemental appropriations bill as defined in Section 9 of Article 7 of the Hawaii Constitution shall not be used to appropriate monies from the Unemployment Compensation Insolvency Fund. We'll also make other technical and non-substantive amendments. Members, I think we already have a effective date. So I think I kind of like to see this have more discussion, because I think if we do have another crisis with unemployment insurance, although we can borrow money into the fund, we probably may not be getting like any kind of federal aid and stuff. So just to have more discussion about this, we'll move it along. Okay, so any discussion? If not, Senator Ihara.
We're voting on the chair's recommendation to pass House Bill 2469 with amendments. Any reservations or objections to the recommendation? Hearing none, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. Proceed to House Bill 2471, House Draft 1, relating to the Adequate Reserve Fund. Let's see. Chair recommend we pass with amendments. We just changed the effective date to January 1st, 2060, and make technical and non-substantive amendments for the purposes of clarity and consistency. Any discussion? Not Senator Ihara.
Any reservations or objections to the recommendation to pass House Bill 2471 with amendments? Hearing none, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. House Bill 2495, House Draft 1, relating to employment practices. Chair recommend we pass with amendments. We will, because of the strong support of this bill, we will change the effective date to upon approval, and make technical non-substantive amendments for purposes of clarity and consistency. Any discussion? If not, Senator Yara.
Any reservations or objections to the recommendation to pass House Bill 2495 with amendments? Hearing none, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much, members. We'll recess.